Hello, hello, Cancer. Welcome to your October 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Cancer. And I also wanted to mention, because I get a lot of questions about it, if you don't know what your sun, moon, and rising is, I am going to post the website that I like to use. I'm not sponsored. I just really like that website for generating a natal chart. And so that is what I would use if I were you, if you would like to check it out. And what else is going on? I have a lot of exciting announcements today, so stay tuned until the end. I got a lot of housekeeping stuff to take care of. And I also got a mailbox, which I'm so excited about. I'm so stoked to be able to connect with you guys via snail mail. Now we can write to each other. Well, I don't actually know. Depending on how busy it is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to respond to everything, but we can play around with it. So I will give more info about that at the end and some other good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing coming up for Cancer is create. Where are you putting your creative energy? What are you producing right now? It's just a question worth asking, because you might find that there's a really great sense of relief in just creating and putting your creative energy into something. Okay, then the witchling we have is creativity. What do you know? Creativity is a natural part of you that can be ignited and developed. Okay, so doubling down on the creativity here. Pay attention to what nudges you get, what inspirations you have, where you feel like you would really like to produce something. I'm getting that it's going to be a great time to start getting the ball rolling on relieving some of that energy. For some, it might be drawing, it might be cooking, it might be something more in terms of like what you have going on in your home. It might be like design stuff. Whatever it is for you, get creative this month. Find some way to express that and make it work for you. Then we have tigers. So there is a reference to a third eye here. And what I'm getting from this card in a broader sense is more about you kind of, it's interesting, like the word adaptation is coming up. So you know how tigers have stripes so that it's their camouflage, right? So for you, it's less about hiding. That's really not what I'm getting from this. It's more like how you're adjusting to the way that things are right now is going to make a big difference for you in the long term. So just notice the ways that you're changing, notice the ways that you're growing, and that's going to be a big game changer for you. If you're conscious about what this is, it's going to help quite a bit. Okay, and then the word of the month, we have alchemy. Combine two things that don't go together. Step beyond all base matter and find the gold within. The once impossible may now be possible. Give it a try. And that definitely is related to the creativity aspect of this. Okay, so let's get into the base reading. This is the central energy that you're working with this month. 10 of chalices. Okay, so this is the happy, happy, joy, joy card. This is the celebration card. It's kind of like after a long time of building, after a long time of, you know, making changes, making an effort, making things happen, it's like finally the payoff. That's what the 10 of Cups is about. Your personal payoff, your social payoff, all of the ways that you actually benefit from all of the efforts that you've put in. So you're now starting to pick all of the fruit from the seeds that you've planted in the past, and it just looks like fulfillment and contentment. So I think that the 10 of Cups is just showing that you have a lot of goodness and things to be thankful for that are around you. And I think this settling feeling, and the settled energy is actually what helps you create more. So that's kind of giving you some room to really explore your creative process. Now we're going to go into what you need to know about October, about this month. We have the Queen of Swords. It's okay to go to the beat of your own drum. It's okay to do things differently. It's okay for you to really honor what you need. And I know that Cancer is a very service-oriented sign. It's okay for you to kind of break out of that and claim things for yourself. Like, that is also okay. And sometimes it's really hard to give ourselves permission to do that. And you might be finding that this month. So it's okay to do things with yourself in mind. That's what you need to know this month. And then the advice for you is the Ace of Pentacles. So just open the door. It's kind of like you're not going to know what could be if you never try. And what is it? It's that saying, what is it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so the Ace of Pentacles is kind of saying, take the risk. Like, it is something, you get one life, right? So you really do have to evaluate, is complacency or fear really worth where I'm at right now, or is the risk worth it? Like, is just taking the chance, is the payoff going to be greater than the risk? And that's what you have to evaluate for yourself. And most of the time, the risk is actually worth it. Most of the time, yes, sometimes there are reckless things. There are things that are really irresponsible and poorly thought out, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a reasonable opening that you can create in your own life by taking risks where you might be susceptible to rejection, you might be susceptible to something going wrong, or maybe things not panning out exactly the way you want to. But at the end of the day, you have to make an attempt somehow. If you only exist within the comfort zone, all of the good stuff is outside of that. And if you play it safe, you're never going to get to the goods. So what you're experiencing externally, this is what's happening for you in the external world. We have the Four of Chalices. You might find yourself saying no to a lot in terms of, maybe it's yourself, maybe it's events that you do want to go to or don't want to go to. You might find things, because this is about turning down an offer. And this looks like, I'm getting that that's you. I'm getting that's you being the one to reject and turn down. And it might be coming from this playing it safe, or maybe you're kind of writing out something that has to do with people pleasing or an old picture that you're working through. And no matter what the case, it just looks like, this is optional. Don't forget that. Like, you are creating the experiences that you're having, and saying yes and no to things is what's going to either create more of this or put it to an end. So really, I think the potential, this is now reading as potential. Not everyone's going to experience the 10 of Chalices this month. You're just not. Like, it's one of those things that you could. This is what's on the table for you. I want to be very clear to everyone who's listening. The 10 of Chalices is what you could experience this month. It's 100% accessible to you. Now, you always have the option to pout. You can. At any point in time, you can pump the brakes, you can turn down offers, you can play it safe, you cannot move forward, you can do that. And it's going to be much harder to get here. So remember that so much of what you're doing, so much of what you're saying to yourself, what you're experiencing, what you are building for yourself is being perceived through your lens. And the more you work on your lens and your blueprint and your template for what you have experienced, the more accessible the 10 of Chalices becomes. But it does take effort. It takes confronting some really scary things, and it does take doing the work and challenging yourself. And I understand that not everyone is going to do the work. So it's simply, I feel like this reading is kind of harsh, but it's just like, you know, you don't have to have the 10 of chalices if you don't want to. And I think that people forget, like, they're just expecting. I don't want anyone who's listening to this to expect the 10 of chalices. Like, don't expect this if you're not doing the work. Like, this is not something you're entitled to. It's something that you actually have to make happen for yourself. Now, it doesn't have to be through hard work, but or like something that's intense and dramatic. It just takes, you know, applying and being willing to do things differently and trying a new approach and being open-minded. If you're sitting and telling yourself the repeat sob story or the rejection story over and over again, and you're unwilling to see another way, you are cutting yourself off from the 10 of chalices. So let me just get that out of the way before people come after me in the comment section. Okay, so this is what you're healing this month. This is the perception card. The 8 of chalices is the way you're looking at it, the story that you're telling yourself. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there is so much. A lot of the trauma that you could be carrying might not even be yours. A lot of the stories that you've been told about resources, about money, about love, about whatever it is that you're wanting and desiring could be from another source. And that's why the Queen of Swords is saying you don't have to buy into all of those things that you were told. You can actually find a new way of being. You can find a new way of accessing this 10 of chalices, but it's up to you. This is not something, and I know a lot of you know this, my readings are not like this is concrete what's going to happen. This is an advice reading where you get to do whatever you want with the energies that are at play that I'm picking up on right now. And so that is where you have this crazy opportunity to make a massive shift where everything that is on the table, right? The 10 of Cups is on the table. Okay, so you have this crazy opportunity in October where you can actually address all of the ways that you've been shutting yourself off from receiving the things that you want and need, and you can find a new way to kind of cut through the noise that you've been clouded with and open yourself up to a lot more abundance, love, happiness, joy. It's like you can get there. I just want everyone to know that it takes application. Okay, now what's shifting out of your life is the 7 of Swords. So maybe you were trying to take on too much, or there was a lot that you kind of were carrying, like dead weight that you were carrying along with you. And it's time to leave some of that behind and just lighten up in a lot of ways. I'm not saying attitude-wise, I'm just saying lighten your load. Now I'm going to clarify this one. So then we have the High Priestess. You know what needs to go and what needs to stay. You know what to focus on. And I'm not sure if you can see, I know that the illustration is a little bit small, but this is like reorienting yourself. And that's what the 8 of Chalices does. That is really how you're taking inventory of the things that are going on in your life and whether or not this is the way you want things to continue to be, or if you would like to write a new narrative for yourself. The oncoming energy is the 6 of Swords. Again, you're still in this process. It's kind of like this is where you were just identifying what to leave behind, and this is where you're actually doing it. Like you're actually taking action and breaking free of the old patterns. This is all up to you. You are in control. You're the master of your reality. You get to decide what work you do, what effort you make, and how you make changes. And then we also have the King of Wands. So it really looks like mastery over your own energy is what's coming up in the oncoming energy. So that looks good. It's just kind of like about knowing where to invest appropriately in terms of your efforts and energy. Okay, so that's all for the base reading. Now we're going to shift into the timeline. So if you're new to my channel, I read in quarters. So each one is about a week-ish. So first, second, third, and fourth quarter, this will be where you end up at the end of October. First thing for Cancer, restlessness. So this is, I think this is the waiting game that you're playing with yourself. I want you to really get a look at the clock, where it's like all the numbers in the eyes, like you're just watching. And I've seen people get angry at me when I talk about in the comment section, and I don't care. You can come after me in the comment section. Your comment will get deleted though, so I'd be careful if you want to spend a lot of time attacking, because I'm gonna delete it. So it's like when I talk about the Ten of Cups, it activates like so much resistance, and part of the problem is if you have an attitude of, I'm waiting for a break, I'm waiting for things to improve, it's not going to work. Okay, so it's going to keep you in this restless state where you're just like watching the clock. When are things going to get better? When are things going to get easier? It's like you have to start that process. You can't just wait for it to happen. I mean, it's not going to just relieve itself. Like, you have to actually do something differently in order to experience that. So remember that, yes, you can stay in this rabbit hole as long as you like. It's all up to you. Second quarter is healing through rest. So part of this is about taking a break and, giving back to yourself. I think that, there's a great need for all of these things that you're going through. Creative expression is going to be your best friend this month. Write, draw, paint, express it, get it out however you want to. I just strongly feel that the restlessness, we kind of need this, right? The restlessness is something that we need to have in order to make a change. Now, the difference is, like, if you're struggling with something in a pattern that keeps happening over and over, you really do have to position yourself differently. Like, that is the only way to fix something. It's all you can do. Even if the circumstances feel defeating, it's kind of like you can't just wait for it, but the discomfort, the restlessness is what pushes you to do something differently. And so the healing through rest is kind of where things are coming together and you're finding yourself like doing a little bit more of the introspection around this. And I think the rest and incubation is really where you get that space for creativity. And that's where you can really get some answers. So I don't think that creativity popped up twice for no reason. I think that it actually is because this is a tool that you can use to really dig and get some answers about yourself and what you need. So take the rest as a way to kind of use this time wisely. The third quarter, we have broken and hatched. Okay, so this is, what are you exposing? What are you exposing through this process, through this month? What's your avenue internally to experience the 10 of Cups? The 10 of Chalices. The 10 of Chalices, again, it's not something that just happens to people. It's something that you find and cultivate within yourself. And it's a tough pill to swallow. I get that. I hear that 100%. It really is. And not everything is, some things are easy, some things are hard, some things are painful, some things are less so. And there's all different circumstances, but the point is we all have these cycles in our lives. And so this is about just kind of like riding the waves of the things that you're processing, especially with, this being like you're cracking something open and really witnessing it, possibly for the first time. So just allow yourself to kind of go through this and, let yourself do some digging this month. And then the outcome of October is everything you need too soon. Oh, so it's kind of like when it rains, it pours, right? So you might actually find that it's something where you might be asking for things to get better, but find yourself not being receptive to it. Like you ask and then you get it and then you're scared of it. And you're in that cycle over and over again. So you might be dealing with selective blindness, like good things coming into your life, but you keep shutting them down. Like, why are you shutting it down? Why are you saying no? Why are you refusing help? Why are you ignoring support? It's like, start really looking at your behavior. I'm dead serious. For those of you who are like calling bullshit right now, or really are committed to being rigid and locked into a specific way of thinking, start writing it down. Every day, get a notebook, and before you go to bed, write down 1, 2, or 3 opportunities that you had that day. Tell me, were you offered something? Did someone hold the door open for you? Did someone do something nice for you? Did you get a free coffee? Like, pay attention to all of the good things that happen, and then also the opportunities that you saw appear in your life. Maybe it was an ad for something, or maybe it was somebody reaching out to you about an opportunity, or something that you saw, like a job opportunity. Just list them out, and you might be surprised at how much happens in like a week. All right. So this is just to practice. Okay. But I think that the everything you need too soon is just coming from the 4 of Chalices. Okay. Now we're doing a 3-card pick. So you're welcome to pick a card, pick before or after I flip them over, whichever feels good to you. All right. Card number 1. We have the Tower, burning it down. That is totally, I know Cancer is like, oh, the Tower. But it's kind of like, well, you need to burn something down to experience new growth. You can't like build a new house on top of an old foundation and expect it to be healthy or safe. So you want things to be released so that you can start building new. That's how this entire process works. So let yourself go there. Okay, card number 2, we have Temperance, balance, take it easy. Don't put so much pressure on things to come together immediately. And remember, temperance is something that you have to create. So it might be that temperance for you isn't so much about having a blank to-do list. That might not actually be balance for you. It might be something where balance is being realistic with what you're accomplishing, or being more present where you're at, rather than trying to project yourself somewhere else. So redefine what balance is for you, and balance is something that has to work for you. And card number 3, we have Daughter of Swords. So you really need to focus on what story you're telling yourself, and if there's a new way to think about it. If you are unwilling to do that, you're going to have a hard time. I can already tell you that, because this is the most important piece of what you're going through, is your perception, the way you're looking at it, the way you're seeing it, because that's where the initial shift happens. It's like your internal shift is going to, 1, help you attract the right things, and 2, it is going to become easier to like catch yourself and find the awareness that you need to begin to make changes, so that your external experience can be a little bit smoother. All right, so that is all for today's reading, and don't forget that in terms of the announcements, I do have the mailbox. The link is in the description box, or not the link, I'm sorry, the mailing address. See, this is so new for me. The mailing address is now in the description box. You're welcome to check that out. If you want me to review a tarot deck, you can send it to me. You guys know that I do reviews, even though I've been slacking on that for quite a while. Because I've had some requests like for people to send their tarot decks. So now that you can do it, you know, send whatever you want, whenever you want. It's a physical address, so you can send me anything. And, please no dark web packages. No, I'm just kidding. So that is all for the mailbox. I'm excited to play around with that with you guys and see what I can do with that. And then I want everyone to know that I am going to be going on vacation from October 5th to the 17th. My vacation responder will be on if you want to send me emails during that time. If you need to contact me, all of the info will be on there. And so I would recommend, if you want to work with me, doing it before the 5th, because I know that it's going to be kind of packed when I get back from vacation. And I also want you to know that my prices will be changing for tarot spreads that get emailed. The audio recording and email readings that I do, those are going up by $5 as of November 1st. So the prices are going to be changing on that. Because of that, if you do want to take advantage of getting a 2019 overview reading, I will make that option available on my website if you want to get a tarot spread. You just make sure you select, as far as the time frame, 2019, and I'll just do it for the year. So you can get that a little bit early if you want, before prices change. That is available to you, and that's all I have, everybody. So thank you so much for joining me today. It has been so much fun talking with you guys, and I always appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, following me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good one, Cancer. Bye-bye.